So we're going to break down those 4 killer riffs that Schenker's got. One of them is the UFO one from the original album that he did with UFO, the Phenomenon album. I'm picking some really hard words to say today, essential and phenomenon. From that album, Rockbottom, and 3 from the Michael Schenker solo stuff. So let's get stuck in. Just let me say as well, it matters what notes you play. It matters what order they're in, but don't worry about what fingers you use. I'll explain in a minute when we look into the arena. Let's get stuck in. So Let Sleeping Dogs Lie. There's 2 sections to that, or 2 parts to that, I should say, the actual riff. So let's have a look at them. So the intro riff is... So we start on the A string, on the B note, 2nd fret. Up to the D string, to that note again, back to the open A. Now, in between each cycle of that, there's a slightly different rhythm phrase. Then you've got that sort of fills in that bit for the verses. Then you've got when the actual verse starts. Okay, and then it finishes on the high E. So you start on the low E, 3rd and 4th frets. So there's a bit of a bluesy thing going on again. And then so we've got 5 on the A, 4 on the A, 2 on the A. Back to the G note, 3rd fret on the E. And then he ends on the A. So it's always alternating something. It's a really common thing in classical music. It's a device that they use. It's almost like a call and answer. So you're going... That's effectively what's happening. So he's alternating between those 2, a bit like in Rockbottom, where he's alternating between... And now, I can't really do a play along with Rockbottom. I could if I messed around with the pitch and stuff, but it's slightly sharp to standard tuning. So I'm not going to do a play along with that one, but I'm going to show you the breakdown. Now, this one is quite interesting because it uses what we call a pedal tone. So let's have a look at that. So a pedal tone is a commonly used kind of classical device. And if you listen to people like Yngwie Malmsteen and Ritchie Blackmore and a lot of other people from the classical era, oh, what is it with the words today? Then you'll find that that pops up a lot as an idea. Okay, so what you're basically doing is coming back to a note over and over again. Now, this riff is pretty tricky to break down because it keeps coming back to the bottom E string. So you're going... Okay, so that whole idea... So that bounce between... Oh, I didn't play that right. God, I just realised how hard some of these riffs are to play at the slow speed. It's really crazy. Oh, mistakes I'm making. A cut! Right, so you've got this pedal tone that bounces between the E and this note. Then... Okay, so that's the first bit. Then you've got, so I'm on the 6th fret, back to there. Okay. Same idea. So he's using. Sounds like I'm going to start playing the Pink Panther or something, doesn't it? There you go. So that's repeating that idea. So to put that now together through the whole loop. Okay, now what I did at the beginning, or the end of that cycle actually, is I ended on the low E. But what he does, he alternates between that note and this note. So he's going... Okay, first one, second one, so he's coming into there. So one phrase ends with the second time round it goes, and he keeps bouncing between those. So let's just give you an idea on that. And then he's alternating between. Okay, and then into the chorus, which goes. And when he goes into that chorus bit, it goes. Okay, so that's the idea. So it's going between this. Okay, so you get the idea. I should have been a singer. And then at the end of that phrase, as it goes into the chorus. So this is what we end up with. Okay, that's rock bottom lick, and as I say, comes into the solo, to the chorus. So that's the only one I can't really play along with unless I put the thing into my software and change the pitch slightly and everything else. So it's in a slightly different tune. Some of the AC/DC stuff is like that as well. I think some of the early stuff, if you try to play along with, I think Highway to Hell and that kind of era stuff, it's a bit like that. So let's have a look at another one. So let's just go through that riff. So that idea, he's going from the G to the G octave. So that note there, which is the 7th in the scale. And then so it's really a blues scale in the entirety. Goes down to the F to drop back into the G, so it's kind of, and it changes slightly on the second one. Goes into a little C power chord. Now, which fingers you use is up to you. I've just got into the habit of, because that's just how my hand falls. I haven't got huge hands. If I went, that's probably how Schenker does it, but it just feels a bit odd to me to have my fingers stretched like that when it's just, they fall like that. But whatever is good for you, whatever works for you, just go with that. There's, you know, it doesn't really matter. In the chorus bit, it goes down to a B flat. So he's really following the vocal line there. So if you think about the lyrics, watch the attack of the Mad X-Man. And it ends up up on the D. So the first time round, it goes back into. Second time round, after the second verse, it goes from the D, and it goes into a separate section then, like a middle 8. Okay, but really we're just focusing on the riffs on that. So, just once more, nice and easy. And what Schenker does do here, and which is a common thing in music, is he breaks up the end cycles slightly. So he doesn't always play exactly the same thing. And I'm sure when he plays live, he probably plays other little bits as well. So sometimes what I mean by that is he might go in there. You know, he'll put other little bits in there, and really I just want to focus on the main bits for you. So if you are like jamming along to it, you can get stuck into that pattern and have a bit of fun with that. Okay, next one is Into the Arena. So like I just said, doesn't matter what fingers you use, doesn't matter where you want to play it. I'm going to show you both ideas now. Schenker plays it like this. I cannot play it like that. I just get my fingers in the knot. I think that going back to when you learn stuff as a kid, or when you first learn stuff, like when I was a kid, I was obviously learning. I was 13 when I started. I didn't have YouTube. I didn't have access to tabs or anything. They just weren't around really. So you had to listen, and you had to pick up the needle, move the needle on the record, and it goes like again, pick it up again, pick it up again, and you could hear the notes and you figured out where they were. So I learnt it like this. Okay, so I'm playing around there, but Schenker plays it open strings. And that just feels really awkward to me because I learnt it in a different position. The notes are the same. That's one of the weird things about the guitar, but I just learnt it in a different position. So to play it like he does, I get in a knot, but it doesn't matter how you do it. So here's both versions. Now, at the very beginning of that, it's in 12/8 that. So what that means is you'd expect to see in each bar 12 notes of an 8th time. And an 8th is a division of the 4. So 12/8 basically means 12 8th notes, which is a quarter note. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, divided into 2. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But if you saw 8 notes in it, it'd be da 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 da, and it's a triplet. It's da 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 da. So there's your 12 8th notes. At the very beginning is what we call an anacrusis, or a pickup. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4 da da, and there's 2 notes of the triplet. So it starts 1, 2, 3, 4, and this note is the first note of the bar. So if you've ever tried to play along with that and you get a little bit lost with that, that's what's going on. So the very first 2 notes are in the bar before it starts, and we might have heard it called a pickup. Its technical name, or its classical music name, is an anacrusis. There's one for you to impress your friends at the pub quiz. So the notes are like this. And then that's the first one. It goes into a slightly different pattern. Again, I play it different to Schenker. It goes. So the second part is slightly different because he ends up playing up here. And that bit there is the end of the phrase, not the start, and that's what I mean about the anacrusis part. So it's into the next bar, so it goes. So the actual phrase starts on. Now I play it like this. Schenker plays it like this. It doesn't really matter. It's down to you. Try both, see what feels comfortable. So I'm playing it completely different to him, but it sounds the same. Okay, so hopefully that'll help you a bit. Just take it slow. Start the pattern again. Like I said, it's sometimes harder to play these riffs slower, especially if you've been playing them for a long time and playing them wrong like I have. Picking wise, I think it makes sense to alternate pick everything, but that depends which fingers you use where, and I think that's why I get into a pickle when I'm going. That picking sequence there just feels a little bit awkward for me. So he's always alternating something between the ends of the phrases, and that's quite a common device used in classical music, where it's like, let's say, the call and answer type of thing. So I hope you enjoyed those, and if you want to check out some more Schenker stuff on my channel, because as you know I'm a big fan, click there. I'll see you in the next one.